So we're still reacting to a deluge of celebrity reactions to the news of Charlie Kirk's death. Some of them better than others, for sure. Arnold Schwarzenegger actually offered his thoughts on the matter in a recent appearance at USC. He expressed he was very upset that someone's life was taken because they have a different opinion. It's just unbelievable. This was a great communicator, a great advocate for the right for Republican causes, and he had such a great way of communicating with the students. A human life is gone, and he was a great father, a great husband.
It's so weird because I think he's been kind of going hard against Gavin Newsom lately too, and all he'll ever be remembered for is "Screw Your Freedom" in 2020. That's all he's going to be remembered for politically.
Wait, you mean Gavin Newsom or Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Arnie.
Wait, what did he say?
It was like during COVID, and basically people were like, I don't want to be...
He said, "Screw your freedom"?
Yeah, he's like, oof. Yeah, like that's all he's going to be remembered for.
Well, look, I can excuse it insofar as he is a boomer, right? A boomer who grew up in a high-trust society that believed institutions were trustworthy and reliable and delivered information
that weren't lying to you
for the safety and collective good of society. As a boomer, that's just something that's ingrained in him. Yeah. So I think we can excuse that, but I do think he should issue a correction for his previous statements if he hasn't already. But yeah, that was one celebrity statement. And then also Charlie Sheen spoke out when he was appearing on Piers Morgan recently. I didn't even know Piers Morgan was having the likes of a Charlie Sheen on his show instead of a political commentator.
He's got a documentary coming out right now on Netflix, so that's why I think he's probably promoting that.
I've seen promotion for that.
I saw a story where apparently Denise Richards talked about going even after they divorced, going to like where he was living because nobody on the set of 2.5 Men could get a hold of him, and anybody that would, if he didn't want to be bothered, would get fired. They're like, he can't fire you. And she like went there and he was just like holed up with hookers and hadn't slept in days. So she was like making turkey sandwiches for him and hookers.
Didn't she call them white trash sandwiches?
Yeah. And I was like, well, that's elitist, but okay. But the point is yeah. That was so he's like, there's all this stuff coming out right now because there's this documentary series out.
Here's what he said about the assassination. He called it this generation's JFK moment, an extraordinary moment, a horrific moment. What do you feel about this, Charlie, that somebody would be executed like that, basically for having opinions someone didn't like? I first thought about his fatherless children, his wife, instantly a widow, so I didn't care about the politics or any of the social aspects, cultural aspects. At the first, I immediately thought of just in the family dynamic and component and the value of what was just ripped from all of them forever. He continued, Joe and I just trying to keep some measure of keep our wits and sensibilities about us processing this. And then we're discussing the JFK assassination earlier in that same interview. Yeah, if that moment had to happen, the moment happened, and being with Rogan for the aftermath of it was helpful. If that makes sense, I don't know. I think for this generation, it's their JFK moment. Seriously, if that's where we wound up, it cannot be where we stay. It's still, I don't want to say it's still not. It just still doesn't feel. It's too surreal to process. That's just transcribed from his real,
it's not written.
Like in real time comments that weren't pre-prepared. So he was kind of like speaking from the heart in that moment.
The thing is like because of the bifurcation and the polarization of our culture now, you'll never have a JFK moment again, a true JFK moment, because like you said with Arnie, the institutions have been toppled in their credibility, and there is no more area of this of the world, or at least for this country, there's nothing that we can coalesce around.
And again, he's really speaking on it from a boomer perspective. Yeah, truly, to compare it to JFK's assassination.
I mean, I get what he's saying.
Of course, that was a moment in the time of mass media consumption that was completely centralized instead of decentralized. a moment, for better or for worse, of cultural unity and cultural mourning across the country. There was no, you couldn't say there was any sizable faction of the public that celebrated, excused, or downplayed the tragedy of JFK's death. Maybe they didn't understand why it happened, and we've learned more about that since then with the declassification of documents about the investigation. However, again, for better or for worse, people were at least able to construct and accept one narrative about what happened and what it meant for the country. That is not the case anymore, and I know Charlie Sheen is speaking on this from the perspective of an older person who's less in touch with online discourse. But if he were paying attention to that, he would know this is entirely dissimilar from JFK's assassination. Case in point, Amanda Seyfried's response. She posted on Instagram saying he was hateful.
That's it.
That was the entirety of her comment on it.
Wonder how she feels. She's
on an Instagram post.
Isn't she in a new movie with Sydney Sweeney, who is a registered Republican? I wonder how they got along.
Is Sydney Sweeney hateful? Does she deserve to die for voting for Trump, which in all likelihood she did? And no elaboration until reposting this on her Instagram stories on Monday. You can't invite violence to the dinner table and be shocked when it starts eating.
So
poignant.
Again, the idea that talking to people was an incitement to violence is insane. And if you didn't realize that for the last 10 years, people telling you that words are violence was going to lead somewhere dark and dangerous, then you weren't paying attention. But that's the thing. Most of them aren't and weren't paying attention.
Especially not on Threads or on Blue Sky.
Yeah.
George Takei took to Blue Sky to share his thoughts.
There is a whole mishgas going on with Star Trek.
Yeah.
It's like it sectored itself off. They're fighting.
The cast of Star Trek is feuding over the Charlie Kirk assassination for some reason because Captain Kirk, right? Yep. George Takei said after Charlie Kirk's murder, Trump and his allies wasted no time crafting an insidious and baseless narrative that the left is violent, the right is under siege, and only they can restore order. Sound familiar? The Nazis tried the same playbook.
I look at how they responded. I read an article today about an insane woman who believes that she has an AI husband, an AI Luigi Mangione husband, who loves him. And you look at the way that they have celebrated Luigi, the way they celebrate violence. You're wrong, and you're kind of evil if you're not misinformed.
Yeah.
The charitable definition would be that you're politically stuck in your own views and you're misinformed, but I would err towards the side of evil.
And then Tim Russ threw his hat in the ring with just an image on X, which still has not been taken down.
Nope.
The only Kirk that matters.
And then, of course, we don't even need to go to the next phrase. Right underneath it, Stephanie says, you think Charlie Kirk doesn't matter, so that justifies him being shot in the neck and killed? Is that really what you implied with this pick? People who don't think matter deserve to be assassinated? Well, at least the actor pictured knows that assassination of someone is wrong. And that's William Shatner says, assassination is so senseless. Condolences to the Kirk family. And then there was this one, which is this GIF, and it says, just because someone believes something differently than you. This is from William Shatner, by the way, of course.
Yes.
Just because someone believes something different than you do doesn't make them targets, except that they don't see your views and move on. It's differing viewpoints that make life interesting and makes the world go round. Unless you believe the earth is flat, then I guess it just sits there.
That was clever.
Yes,
yeah, in a way, it was like subtweeting his Star Trek co-stars, but
I'm assuming that the first one, just because I can't look back here, this one here, because it's like a screenshot, I'm assuming that it's real, but found out I'm assuming that it's real, but what is the first William Shatner one? I'm gonna assume that's real, but there was after the Billy D. Williams one, which he then said he made a post about it that he then said he was hacked about, but there was also then later another one that he supposedly made that proved to be fake. So fake news is everywhere on the internet. these days.
The boomers are crashing out. The Billy D. Williams one was crazy because he offers condolences and then says, he deletes it, and then he says, I was hacked because of all the backlash that he got for just paying respects to this man.
Yep.
And boomers actually think that they can say their account got hacked and anyone believes that shit. Yeah. And I looked through just the timeline on Tim Russ's X account, and it's just a bunch of Facebook boomer memes. No actual original thought. One of them says, pipe down, fox breath. The people who read books are talking. Another one is a fake screenshot from Fox News. We're experiencing editorial difficulties. Please stand by while we figure out how to blame this on Biden.
You know what the other thing that's crazy about this one is like, like, why would you want to drag your friend into it?
This guy
like, why would you want to drag your, like, if Shatner's your friend, why would you really, hey, leave me out of it? Like, I had nothing to do with this.
Shatner is also sort of sincere to a fault. Remember the moment when he landed on the Blue Origin flight and tried to have a heart-to-heart with Jeff Bezos, who just wasn't having it?
Yep.
So it makes sense that he would respond to this in a more humane way.
Given the fact that I don't care about Star Trek, I will go watch Boston Legal tonight in honor of William Shatner. Actually, no, I'm going to be watching High Potential Season 2, which finally came out. It's first episode. But I will watch some Boston Legal in honor of William Shatner.
You were right when you pointed out that a lot of these disgusting responses to the death of Charlie Kirk are from boomers and not just, you know, Gen Z girls with TikToks. It's both. It's definitely both, but a lot of it is just brain rotted boomers.
I think the reason that bothers me so much is, like, I expect it from the Gen Zs, right? They've been radicalized in the age of the internet. That's fine. Whatever.
It's not fine, but it is what it is.
You see, I'm saying, to me, it's like, whatever. I can ignore you. It doesn't, whatever. I expect that. Mm-hmm. But to see, like, the people who are in positions of power who theoretically would be seen as the parents, the mentors, the giants to those of my age, meaning that they would have been my parents, my bosses, my mentors, the people that I would have looked to for advice on how to walk my own path in the world, to see the amount of hatred in their hearts for people, and to see them co-sign this idea that a dislike of someone's idea of ideas and words is justification for some type of political violence or any violence at all, just scares the crap out of me. It really does.
Yeah, in my opinion, the boomer response to Charlie Kirk's death is just exemplary of the impact of the boomer generation on this country, which is that they got to happily enjoy all of the benefits of a high trust society and then cover it in gasoline and light the match. That's exactly what their generation will be remembered for, rightfully so.
I look at them and I see the hippies of old who just took a society that
peace and love, man.
They took it for granted. They never appreciated what they had when they had it. Yep. And I look at the way it is now. And look, and that's on top of the fact that they're going to be like, you know, firm handshake and you'll get a job and everything will be fine, you know, after they sell their house for $2 million. Like, one of my favorite metas on Instagram now are these videos that make fun of, like, the housing market and boomers selling their, their kids are like, Dad, I'm starting a family. He's like, I'm selling my house to BlackRock for $1.2 million. Fuck you.
Sounds like,
and he flips his own son and daughter-in-law off and then turns and, like, a BlackRock employee just appears and takes and hands him the money. Like, that's what I think of now. And look, if you drive through Charlestown, West Virginia, you will see these boomers. They will be there with their signs, protesting in the name of vague platitudes and slogans.
On schedule, because they got to retire early and do things like that for fun. That's how they spend their days.
And they will sit there with their empty platitudes and bullshit, ignoring the reality of the world in front of them. And like I said, it's not fine that Gen Z is like that, but I understand how it happened.
Yeah.
The adults, remember when they were like, the adults are going to be back in the room, the adults are back in power. Like, they're supposed to have some level of measured introspection and
wisdom.
Wisdom.
Old people are supposed to have wisdom. Well, they don't anymore.
Yeah.
That's a thing of the past.
And no, man, bear, cow, this is not ageism, because there are plenty of people that are not like that are older. But that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about a specific demographic of people within boomers, which is this vestige of neoliberalism that has bled through. And I make the jokes about it all the time, about how much I love neoliberal boomer TV from the 2010s. Well, guess what? We don't live in that world anymore. And my love of it doesn't mean that I think that that's the reality or that we're ever getting back to it, because we're not.
Yeah, it's not ageism. If you're crying about ageism, you're like someone who interrupts a valid discussion about black crime to cry about racism. We're talking about generalizations which are indisputably true.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.